Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Chabango. If you are new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and voila, you're part of the graceful, the beautiful, and the wonderful family. We are back again with another Employment Wednesdays video, and today we are talking about why you shouldn't lie on your CV, or why you shouldn't lie about your qualifications, and why you shouldn't lie during your interview, right? You guys always hear this saying that says desperate measures call for desperate times call for desperate measures, and some people take it too far. You find that people end up lying on their CVs, lying in their interviews simply because they just want to get a job. And I do understand to a certain extent, because I mean, we've got a high number of unemployment in this country. Like it's just ridiculous, right? But whatever you do, don't find yourself in a predicament where you are lying about your qualifications. It will get you in more trouble being unemployed and now being unemployable because you've got a criminal offense on your name. So I note that there is a trending matter currently that is happening in our country, where one individual impersonated being a medical doctor, and then there's a lot of apparently it's alleged, so there's a lot of he did this, he said this, he doesn't have proof, he unlawfully impersonated certain identities and all of these things, right? And there's a oh, but he didn't harm anyone. There's a lot of back and forth and conversation on social media. I just want to say something, guys. A lot of people, I even did a video on TikTok, but a lot of people were saying that no, but everybody. So I was speaking from a legal perspective. I know how strict the LPC is, even when getting admitted. And I used to think that, you know, they're a little bit too much in terms of their requirements and how they send us back for small mistakes on our applications and stuff. I thought to myself, they want to gatekeep. But now I sort of have an understanding of why they're actually very strict when it comes to letting people enter the profession because of such things. There are people that fraudulently pose themselves as attorneys, or attorneys that practice in an unethical way, that don't follow the good conduct of practice and stuff like that. So it's like, I used to think, oh my god, this is just a lot, right? So I was speaking from a perspective of the legal profession, and I know how LPC is quite strict with these matters, right? And then a lot of people went on about how no, there's a lot of lawyers that are doing this to people and all of that. And I thought to myself, but guys, we can't say when we're addressing something and saying something shouldn't be done, and you say there are other people anyway, we live in South Africa anyway. Be the little difference. It doesn't matter if other people are doing it anyway, but be the little difference. Because also, guys, it's so crazy. Like, my dad likes making this joke and saying, when you're one of those people that if you were to be part of a crime, people would get caught on the spot because of how much of a good person you are. People, like, you would actually be suspicious if you were doing something incorrect, right? So it's very important that you understand that you could be the example. So don't do things or be that person who says, oh no, but anyway, a lot of people are doing it, or anyway, this is South Africa. Be the difference that you want to see. And by me saying be the difference that you want to see, I'm not invalidating how hard it is to get a job. I'm not invalidating how intelligent other people are. You know, they are able to actually do what doctors can do, whatever. If you're really so passionate about this thing and you're clearly so smart, just enroll for it. I mean, there's no crime there, unless maybe if your marks don't allow you, then rectify your marks, because lying is definitely not good. Lying will land you in trouble, guys. So I've noted that there are people that think it's okay to lie on CVs, to lie in interviews. Don't do it, guys. Even about your experience, I always say to people, if you don't have tangible experience that you can put on your CV, put life experiences, you know, because we all have life experiences that have taught us qualities that we need in the workplace. There is something that has happened to you or happened in your life that has taught you that time management is important. There is something that has happened in your life that has taught you how to work well under pressure. There is stuff that occur in our everyday life that teaches us to be certain individuals. It doesn't have to be a workplace. So there's no need for you to be lying to say, hey, I've worked at a certain place, when you know very well that you didn't work at that place. Because another thing, guys, and I speak again from a perspective of the legal profession, another thing that we don't know is that the legal profession, yes, and other professions that have a governing body tend to do investigations. I'll make, for instance, if you're an aspiring a legal profession, if you're still studying or you're still in the works of applying, please have this in mind. When you are done with your articles and your 4 board exams, you submit an application to the LPC. The LPC runs an investigation on you. So they punch in your ID on a system. Your ID will tell them if you have any criminal records, in case you lied on your application. They will punch in your ID. Your ID will tell them if you're blacklisted, if you are over indebted and stuff like that. Because also with us in the legal profession, you can't you can't be admitted as an attorney if you're blacklisted, because remember, you're entrusted with people's money. You have to handle a trust account. They do thorough investigations. I remember one of my friends had an issue whereby they from Swaziland. There was an issue with them being a South African citizen and all of that by naturalization, and they found out those things. Like, it's some of these things that we actually think, it's just a small thing, but they found them out because they do thorough investigations before letting people in the profession. And it has come to my knowledge that other governing bodies do that too. So when you go and lie and say you studied accounting, sweetie, you are going to pay a fine if they find that you are lying. You are going to get arrested for a maximum of 5 years if indeed you are lying and you've done too much, right? Because they do investigate, they do check, guys. You know, back in the day, people used to say no, even with references, right? I know people do this a lot with the references on their CVs. They put their friends and stuff like that, right? And you will make a mistake of putting your friend and then you don't let them know, right? And then your friend is called and then they're not in acting mode, and then they actually get you busted, and thereafter they realize that you're a liar. Then they start investigating you, and then once investigating you, sometimes you may not even get arrested. You'll be walking around freely in the street, but there's a database called the red list. They will put you in that database. When you try and apply for jobs will decline you. You'll be thinking, oh, I've got a great CV, oh, I've got this, why am I not getting hired? You find that they found a foul on your personality, on your character, and they put you on that list so that each company knows that you're a high-risk employee. So it's very important that you don't lie, guys. Like, I see no reason for you to lie about your profession, especially specialized professions. Like, it's crazy because you put yourself and other people in danger. You know, you put yourself and the profession all together in a very awkward position. You demean the integrity of the profession, basically. You know, so it's very important that you are honest in your CVs. It's very important that you're honest in interviews. Like I said, if you go in an interview and you don't have a lot of experience, rather use your personal experience, things that you've gone through, things that have happened to you in your life. If you've survived some sort of a bullying or trauma, those are things that you can put into the interview and use them to show that you're resilient, use them to show that you're able to keep time. Simple example. If you are asked, so maybe you list a quality like time management on your interview, on your CV, then they ask you to give an example of a time that you proved that you are actually a person that is able to manage their time. You don't have to say, oh no, I worked for this big enterprise, I worked for such a company. You don't have to exaggerate it. You can simply say, number one, I go to church. I am a Christian. So every Sunday at church, you are required to be at church at 7 o'clock. And I serve as a leader in the youth church. And with all of those responsibilities, I'm forced to prioritize. I'm forced to actually do ABCD. Daily life experiences are also experiences. Companies are always willing to teach, guys. If you are good enough and if they see potential in you, you don't have to lie. They are willing to teach. There is enough resource in each company to teach you, because even if they're hired, like right now, I could be hired by a law firm. Let's say I've got experience in maybe commercial matters, or I've got experience in general litigation. Me being hired with that experience, it doesn't mean the company will never teach me. Sometimes when you have nothing to offer, have the willingness to learn. Tell the person, I'm willing to learn. This is all I know, but my heart is at the right place. Because now when you lie and they find out, you put yourself in a position where you are unemployed, you are unemployable, you are on the red list, and everybody knows. You know, you look at a matter like this, absolutely love the individual. The individual was sharing good information. A lot of people profited from that information. They got assistance from that information. But now, all of this time or all of these years, this person has built their brand and all of that. I think that's the time they could have actually utilized to actually do what? study the profession if they're interested in the profession, because now it's like wherever they are, they're probably in a very dark place. You know, their mental health is impacted because everybody's coming after them, everybody's denying them. And that's another thing about different institutions, guys. I know for a fact, like even when you apply for jobs, usually for companies, medium companies or even big companies, like for instance, I remember, what was I applying for? Okay, but yeah, my current job, right? My current job, sent in my qualifications and stuff. I remember the way, okay, I didn't panic, but I remember the HR calling me saying, hey, Yvonne, everything is sorted. We're happy to have you on board. We're going to be hiring you, but we are just waiting for confirmation from the University of Johannesburg that your degree and qualification is indeed correct and stuff like that. I didn't know that employers do that. I was actually very shocked because I'm like, what's happening? Because now I went to school, but guys, I was in school for 6 good years. I was at UJ for 6 good years. So I thought to myself, why man, Jenny? And then when I spoke to the HR guy was like, no, we do that all the time. There's no need for you to stress about it. So every time we like a candidate, everything is sorted. If they say they studied at UJ or whatever university they studied at, we actually do a background check. We actually run confirmation. So there's a system where I think they upload your credentials, and then UJ has an end system where they actually confirm that your credentials are correct, you indeed studied, your qualification is proper. And yeah, so basically that's what I wanted to tell you guys. Do not lie on your CVs. Make sure that you tell the truth. If it's hard for you to tell the truth, don't go to the interview. Don't draft the CV. Simply, like it's that simple. Like don't put yourself in a predicament when you're already searching for opportunities, because you actually put yourself in a position where you won't be employable, and it's not going to be nice. It's going to be such a dark place, right? And I read an article, like there's something in this article that I want to share. So here's the thing, and when I say this to people, and I say this on on one of the comments, and people thought, you know what, people do it anyway. Guys, do not lie. I repeat, do not lie on your CVs, do not lie on your interviews, do not lie about your qualifications, right? Because when you lie, they will catch you. Even if they don't catch you now, even if it takes 10 years, even if it takes 20 years, do not do it, because you will get caught out, right? It's honestly an unnecessary place to be in. Just go to school. If you really like that profession and you're really doing great, go to school, do the profession, get your degree, get the job. I know it's hard. We all went through. It's hard to find articles. It's hard to find internships. But anyway, eventually we conquer. Because when you try, you know, my dad likes telling me how I should never at any point do shortcuts. However long the road is, I must follow through, because I won't have to go back. Because shortcuts have the shortcuts have this thing of sending us back to where we started. Shortcuts will, like, you know what, it's nice in the moment, it's good, you've done your shortcut, you're here, you've arrived, you've landed, right? But what happens is you get caught, you're all the way back there, you are requiring legal assistance, you're requiring this or that, and a lot of things are happening around you, right? And when all of that is said, then a judgment is granted against you. You're supposed to be in jail for 5 years max, right? You're in jail for 5 years. You're wasting 5 years of your life. That 5 years is the 5 years that you could have used to actually study the course, because most courses are like between 4 to 6 years. You could have just studied that, gotten it out of the way. So there's no reason for you to take shortcuts, right? So I note that our president in 2019, they signed the law, the law NQF Amendment Act of 2019, which is in terms of section 32B of the amendment, and it is now compulsory for all employers, educational institutions, organs of the state, and skills development providers to verify all qualifications through the South African Qualifications Authority, SAQA. Yeah, you guys know it as SAQA. It's SAQA. It's very, very important that you don't lie about your qualifications. It's going to land you in trouble. You are going to get caught at some point. You see, so from the year 2019, I know it's been hard to transition in all of that, because there are people that are still walking free. But thereafter, like the years after 2019, 2020, 2021, and all of that, I know that a lot of people are actually getting exposed. it's important that employers actually set you up. It's important. I didn't know that it's compulsory. Like I said, I was shocked when my thing a recruiter was like, hey Sri, everything is going well, but we just need to check your qualifications. I'm like, so they actually check. So don't lie, guys. It's really not profitable. It's gonna hinder your opportunities of getting a job. It's gonna hinder your opportunities of growing in your career. It's gonna hinder your opportunities of doing better and becoming better and all of that. Don't do it. Like I said, I'll leave you with my words. If you can't, if you don't have the qualification of it, if you don't have the experience of it, you can go get it. You can learn. We live in a country where there are opportunities. Actually, in a world where there are opportunities. If you feel like you're good enough, there's somebody out there who's willing to assist you. There's somebody out there who's willing to hear you. Don't put yourself in a position where you are impersonating any profession of whatever nature. It's going to get you in trouble. And yeah, before I go, let me just remind you again. If you happen to impersonate a certain profession that you are not, or lie about a certain qualification that you are not, you are likely to get fined. If you're found guilty, you will get fined. And if your case is actually deeper than imagined, you are going to get arrested and you're going to be sentenced for a maximum of 5 years. And if you ask me, it is not worth it. Go to school, get your 51s if you need to, get your 90s if you need to, get your degree, get your articles, get your internships, or fight your way through the system. Because that's another thing. You know, somebody said to me, I think it was Buipilo, one of the HR recruiting gurus in the country. She said, it wasn't to me directly, but she said it in a live, that we live in a country where we are already at a disadvantage, especially as a black female, right? You are already at a disadvantage. So don't do anything to further sabotage yourself. You already know that the system doesn't favor you as a person of color, as a female, and it doesn't favor you as a young person because there's no employment, there's no resources or whatever. Do not further sabotage yourself. The best that you can do with yourself is that if you're not going to get an opportunity, let it be because the system is failing you. Don't be the person that's failing themselves or adding on to the failure of the system. You know, don't be that person. Can we do better? Do not forget to be love and light, and don't forget to share this video. Tell your friends to tell their friends to stop using their friends as references on interviews. God bless you. Have a good one. I will be praying for you. I hope you guys are still securing jobs. And before I go, I know I've been saying I'm leaving. Before I go, I hope you guys do know that it is employment season right now. A lot of companies are recruiting for the following year. So if you want a new job, this is the best time to apply. Don't forget to be love and light. God bless you. Love you all.